Hi fans of high quality entertainment. It's the end of this series. I'm gonna cry. So here we go. Now, as I've stated in the previous video or two, I'm including Her Majesty in this song. In fact, maybe I'll talk about Her Majesty first and get it done with. So on the original Beatles album, the vinyl on the back, it says The End, the very last song. Even on the label, The End, the last song. And I've told the story before, but some of you may not have heard it. I was 11 years old. My dad had this big stereo cabinet with a turntable, a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and a radio in it. And so I'm playing Abbey Road for the very first time. And then, watching the vinyl spin and listening to it. And the end ends. But I see, the needle hasn't picked up yet. And it's going round and round. I'm thinking, what the heck's going on? And so I turned the volume all the way up to see if I could hear anything. Oh, I heard something. I heard the opening chord to Her Majesty. And I think I jumped. It was quite a shock. And it was very loud. But I don't want to rank Her Majesty because, like I said, when I started this series, it was the original way, when I was 10, 11, 9, 8, 11, whatever years old, before the Beatles broke up, and their final album was Let It Be, and then, they disbanded, and so I'm not doing Real Love, which I know some of you want me to do, and Free as a Bird. It's just, the Beatles era when they were a band. But you can't please everybody. But Her Majesty, I think, is nice. It's a kind of a, it's the first hidden track, so that in itself is kind of cool. The End. Paul McCartney, vocals, backing vocals, lead guitar, bass, piano. John Lennon, backing vocals, lead guitar. George Harrison, backing vocals, lead guitar, rhythm guitar. Ringo Starr, drums. Plus there's violins, violas, cellos, double bass, horns, trumpets, trombone, bass, trombone, blah, 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 blah. The final song on the Beatles' last recorded album, aside from the 23-second Her Majesty, was a fitting eulogy for the greatest group the world had ever known, and an apt farewell from the band to their legions of fans. They even have more fans than I do. I bet you didn't know that. And John Lennon says, oh, that's Paul again, the unfinished song, right? We're on Abbey Road, just a piece at the end. He had a line in it, and in the end, the love you get is equal to the love you give. Of course, he got that wrong. Which is a very cosmic line, which again proves that if he wants to, he can think. Beginning with a guitar solo and the lines, oh yeah, all right, are you going to be in my dreams tonight? The song features uniquely on a Beatles track a drum solo from Starr. It took some persuading before the group's stalwart drummer agreed to the solo. And there's more, I don't want to read it all, but on the BeatlesBible.com, which I mention occasionally because this is where I get all of the info from, check it out for all of the information on all of the Beatles songs. The End also features the sound of McCartney, Harrison, and Lennon on lead guitars, taking it in turns to perform two-bar sequences over the love you backing vocals. And that's one thing I wanted to say is, for years and years, I thought they were singing the end. And then, later on in Paul McCartney, when he would do concerts and he'd perform the Abbey Road medley, or last 2 or 3 songs of it, they were singing Love You, and I was thinking, oh, they changed that to Love You, because they're performing live. But of course, it was always Love You. I didn't know that. I bet I didn't know that. The order was Paul first, then George, then John, and they went back and forth. They ran down their ideas a few times, and before you knew it, they were ready to go. This is Jeff Emmerich saying this. They ran down their ideas a few times, and before you knew it, they were ready to go. Their amps were lined up together, and we recorded their parts on one track. You could really see the joy in their faces as they played. It was like they were teenagers again. One take was all we needed. The song closed with some of the Beatles' most celebrated and memorable words. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. The final words of the song were written by McCartney with Shakespeare in mind. And Paul says, I wanted it to end with a little meaningful couplet, so I followed the bard and wrote a couplet. He wrote a doozy. The whole Beatles medley, side 2 of Abbey Road is, I think, Abbey Road, I think, is the greatest album of all time, along with the Beatles' White Album. But I think side 2 of Abbey Road is the greatest side of any group's album, my opinion. And the shivers up and down your spine when every time, even now, I'm not tired of it. The guitar solos, Ringo's, pretty basic drum solo, but it's Ringo, and when the band kicks back in, they're just rocking. And of course the guitar solos are great. I love all of the individual guitar solos. I'm gonna cry. So in my rankings, it goes almost toppermost to the poppermost. It goes between Tomorrow Never Knows and Golden Slumbers at number 4, because the end is just so emotional for a lot of us Beatles fans, just because, we knew this is the end. And they, doing Ringo with his drum solo and then the 3 Beatles with their guitar solos, it was just a real group effort at the end. And that's it. I will say that there's going to be one final video in which you'll see all of the rankings. I was thinking of, going over it with a fine-tooth comb and probably changing, but I might a little bit, but I mean, what's the point to doing this whole series and then changing everything around, right? Because, after a year, you will change your mind about certain songs, because it has been almost a year. But, I might change a song or two and move it up or down. So stay tuned for that final video. And also, anybody that comments below with their full list, I think some people have done it throughout the whole series. I hope I remember. I will try my best to include other people's in this final video. And I thank you all. Well, not all of you. I thank most of you for being with me on this ride of ranking all of the Beatles songs. And I'm really tired now. I don't want to rank any more songs. It was actually, there were times I was, you get frustrated and, you get some negative feedback about, people complaining about certain songs being ranked too low or too high. Meanwhile, it's just one guy's opinion. And there were a couple of times it's like, why did I start this series? Plus, it's difficult to rank the Beatles songs. If I had to start it all over again, you know what? I don't think I would do it, because you can't rank the Beatles songs. There's too many good ones. So it's just kind of an estimate. But I would say every 20 songs, that would maybe, you could kind of see what I like that way. But, one song compared to another, one great song compared to another great song, it's like, how do you rank them? It's kind of almost impossible, but I tried. And so, like I said, thank you all for being with me on this journey. And some of you I know are saying, what series are you going to rank, what band or artist are you going to rank next? And I don't know. I'm going to take a break from it, and I'll still do the occasional Beatles video or solo Beatles video, but I want to, talk about other bands, because I do like other bands than the Beatles, believe it or not. And so that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.